This is Radio Free Hillsdale, 101.7 FM. I'm Scot Bertram, and with me right now is State Senator Mike Shirkey from the 16th State Senate District. That is Branch, Hillsdale, and Jackson counties. He is also Senate Majority Leader. Senator, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome, Scott. I'm always anxious to be on your show. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it, and we have news to discuss. A major initiative announced just a little before we talk related to the repair of dams and bridges in Michigan that are deemed to be in serious and critical condition. Tell us a little bit about this announcement today, Senator.
Yeah, thank you. No, Michigan's blessed with a solid budget right now. We're going to have some carryover funds that are going to allow us to do some things and it all falls under the category of what are the capital constraints that are preventing us from solving problems that have been chronic for a long time. And of course, we all remember it was almost a year ago yesterday, I believe, that we had the big dam breakage up in the Midland area.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are going to muster a significant amount of funds to address that set of dams plus others across the state. At the same time, we're going to be mustering and deploying an equally significant amount of funds to the lead abatement and replacement of lead lines, matching funds for local municipalities so that they can jumpstart their process. And again, that's a great. Those are two great examples of capital-constrained projects that are important to get done. And we can deploy money that Michigan is going to be have in our coffers, either from the budget directly or from federal money, and do things that would be always difficult to do otherwise. And this is a good start. There'll be other things that come up over the next couple of weeks that fall into these similar types of actions. Again, emphasis on capital-constrained projects that will pay off long-term for taxpayers.
When we talk about the dams and bridges, Senator, I don't expect an exact number, but are we talking about a handful of these dams and bridges that are in serious critical condition? Is it dozens? What are we looking at in terms of the quality of the infrastructure that will be addressed, that could be addressed through this measure?
Yeah, in terms of dams, it's dozens of dams all across the state. There's no geographic discrimination there. And in terms of bridges, which is another big example, there are hundreds of them in the conditions of serious need for repair that it's sucking up. They've either been closed or sucking up a lot of local money just to maintain them so that they can be used. And this is a major project. And I'll tell you this, that the sum of those two would have a B after it, not an M after it.
And in terms of timeline or your anticipated support in the House and perhaps down the line from the governor, what do you expect?
I think it'll be, maybe not coincidental to the budget this year, but closely following the budget. Kind of depends on a few things that I can't fully control. I know there's some differences of priorities between the Senate and the House that we will work out. Mm-hmm. There's not great differences. There's just subtle differences. And so, it'll be this year. And the actual timing for getting all these things done will be not capital constrained, but be people constrained, because it'll insert a lot of work into the industry in Michigan, and we're going to have to be creative in making sure that we figure out how to spread the spending out over as long a period of time as we can, so that we don't artificially inflate costs, which is what's happening today in other building construction arenas. So there's going to be some management required here to make sure that the money goes as far as it possibly can. But this is transformational kinds of investments that but for maybe there is a small silver lining in what we've all endured these last 16 months. In that the kind of everything's kind of come together to provide these kind of resources that doesn't happen very often.
State Senator Mike Shirkey with us here on Radio Free Hillsdale, 101.7 FM. Scot Bertram speaking with Senator Shirkey. And also we find out just a little before we talk today, the news was waiting for us to chat. This is what happened.
Yes, of course.
And the Governor Whitmer, has announced that outdoor event limits will be lifted as of June 1st. Broad mask and gathering orders lifted as of July 1st. Larger crowds at outdoor venues like Detroit Tigers games in Detroit. This, of course, follows the CDC guidelines from recently about vaccinated individuals who are able to, well, they were always able to, but now have been cleared by the CDC to be mask-free. It was an odd situation in which we were told that masks weren't needed, but there were still these limits on restaurants and outdoor capacity, where we know outdoor transmission has been very, very low, extremely low. Does it seem like we could do this even sooner than June 1st and July 1st? That seems like we're waiting for no particular reason.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. And this week, in a meeting with the governor, when she alluded to making these kinds of changes, and I first said, great, because they're much needed, well, then I just simply asked the question, why not do it tomorrow instead of June 1st and July 1st? I cannot wait to see the science behind having to wait for either one of those triggers, and there wasn't much of a robust response to that question. You were correct. There really is no reason to wait any longer, and we can give private industry and other organizations, they can have a latitude if they want to feather it in over time, so they can, change their signage and all those kind of things. Fine, take the time you need, but from a state mandated orders, they should be lifted today. So on one hand, I'm grateful that we're moving in more aggressively in that direction, but on the other hand, I'm going to continue to be critical of the fact that there is no science behind having to wait beyond now. And further, I've been really beating the drum, Scott, on this discrimination that's been occurring, giving more privileges to those who have been vaccinated and not acknowledging people who have naturally acquired immunity because they've contracted the disease and can recover from it. Like 99.8% of people have done so, and but yet they're still required to wear these masks, etc. And so we're still pushing hard to reveal the fact that there's just not much science behind many of these orders, and if we just inform, inspire, encourage, and trust people and businesses to do the right things, things will be just fine.
And Senator, the plan, the governor had laid out the Vax to Normal plan, and I know this is relatively fresh, but is that scuttled completely? Are we technically still adhering to any of those timelines that were on that Vax to Normal proposal, or does today's announcement sort of supersede all of that we might have been trying to look at previously?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to ask the governor directly on that question, but from all indications and based on what has been released, I can't imagine there being much left of the Vax to Normal plan. I was personally and vigorously debating the 70% number anyway, because as far as I was concerned, between the number of people who have stepped up to get shots, plus those that have acquired immunity via the infection itself, is been over 70% for a long time. And so, I was doing all I could to reveal that, and I have better science. We have better science behind that notion than what the science is behind having to wait for July 1st in this current order. But on one hand, as I said, I'm grateful that we're moving in that direction, but there really is no reason why we aren't doing it today.
State Senator Mike Shirkey, if I could ask one more quick question, because since the last time we talked, this deadline that Governor Whitmer had laid out, May 12th, for Enbridge to shut down Line 5 has come and went, and they have not shut down Line 5, thankfully. But I guess technically they are, trespassing on state land now, the governor says. The company says they will only shut down the pipeline if ordered by a federal court or the regulator. So as of now, that badly needed propane, jet fuel, et cetera, continues to flow. This happens in the wake of that the cyber attack on the pipeline on the East Coast. You see how fragile our systems are in some places. Do you believe there will be any action that would force Line 5 to shut down here in the foreseeable future?
I'm going to answer that question by making this statement. I think there's only one person in the state of Michigan who doesn't fully understand the absurdities of these threats and these demands to shut down the pipeline. The plan that was put together to build a tunnel that was going to be ensconced in concrete hundreds of feet below the surface, below the bedrock, frankly, is the best plan, and we need to be doing everything we can to get out of the way so that can be expedited fully. But I think most of the state of Michigan views this as pretty absurd, except for one person.
State Senator Mike Shirkey, 16th State Senate District. You can find him online, senatormikeshirkey.com. Also on Facebook, search for Senator Mike Shirkey. He is also the Senate Majority Leader. Senator, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, Scott, thank you, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.